In one of my earlier videos, I shared a story that impacted me greatly, being fired at 63. But what I did not expect was your incredible responses. The comments you shared was honest, vulnerable, and absolutely amazing. Today, I want to review the 3 biggest lessons that we as a community learned from your words. Hi, my name is Joyce Li. Welcome to the Fullness of Life channel. This is the Grandma's Guide to living a resilient, authentic, and flourishing life with less. Before we dive into the biggest lessons, let's look at comments in general. Well, we receive comments at work, at the family dinner table, and especially online. You hear positive ones, negative ones, and everything in between. They can be encouraging, offensive, thought-provoking. So how do we handle all these different types of comments? My mentor once gave me this perfect framework. She said, view every comment as a gift. Well, think about that. When you receive a gift, you acknowledge it. You might even enjoy the wrapping, but you are not obligated to keep it, use it, or even like it. This mindset allows you to take in the feedback and without having it define you. I need to be real with you. Not every comment on this channel has been sunshine or rainbows. Some viewers has pointed out something about my facial expressions. They're asking, am I wearing dentures? They also comment about the way I speak. You know what? That's okay. I thank them for the responses. This channel, The Fullness of Life, is about being radically authentic. So we have to face the reality. And the goal isn't to show up being perfect or flawless. And I don't think you appreciate me polish every single word I said or put on filter to make it just like an AI image. Well, this channel is about showing up as you are, human beings, imperfection and all. The goal isn't to be perfect. It is being real and share with each other our learning journey. Now, are you ready for the first takeaway? Number 1, finding strength in community. I think this is huge. I know that YouTube is a crowded platform, and the fact that you spend your precious time watching my videos is a huge support, and I really appreciate. I wasn't prepared for the sheer kindness of the strangers in the comments. And I would expect, maybe my family and friends will drop me a kind comment, but no, these are perfect strangers. And they're saying that, oh, this is helpful to me, thank you for sharing it, and we need more older adults share videos like that. Oh, I give you a subscribe to encourage you. These are so kind. Perhaps people do understand that giving this kind of comment really help encourage the person, and it does mean a lot to me. And it also fueled me with enthusiasm so I can keep going. I can read you some of the comments. Here's one. Jolico said, hope you find the job you want. Best of luck. Data Guy said this. Great video. Thanks for taking the time to share. Glad you have started a new chapter, and I hope others see your story and find a renewed sense of purpose. Right on. That's also my hope too. And then another person, JJ, said, we need weekly or even daily videos. I know a lot of older folks going through this. Good niche. He is right. And I'll address about the older folks losing their job, that phenomenon as well later. So from all those encouragement, there's one nugget that I find is pretty resonating with me. And some other viewers also like this. So the second lesson I learned from the comment is that life is more than a job. From Amazing F, it says like this. The most important lesson, job career is not and should never be a life goal. Husband, family, friends, that's what you should cling to. Everything else is a distraction. How true. This hits home. It is so easy to let our careers define us. A layoff could shake our identity. But this experience and your words reminded me that true fulfillment comes from nurturing our relationships and finding meaning beyond our work. That negative feeling of being laid off shall pass. And it did. Though I still remember the incident, it didn't hurt anymore. I still believe the person that I am. So, for those of you that are struggling with the stinky feeling of being laid off sometimes more than once, you have to believe that you are a respectful individual. You are not being defined by your job. Just being human itself talked about your own dignity, and nobody can take that away from you. The third lesson that I want to address is about the reality of ageism. Well, this final lesson is very tough, but it's real. A viewer, Jolly Press, shared the story about being laid off over 60 and the difficulties of finding a job. Another viewer, Rudolph, shared that he fired the company he worked for because he no longer found meaning for working in there for 2 years without another job prospect lined up for him. He was quite certain that it may not be possible for him to find another job. However, he quit the job because he just couldn't stand it. Now, ageism in the workplace, why is it that when we are young, we can quit and we can always look for the next one? However, but when you are over 60, there are all kinds of barriers. This echoed what we have heard. Ageism in the workplace is real. Well, the viewers share that he only wants to be an individual contributor. He doesn't care to be a manager or a supervisor. And yet, when he was sitting through interviews, managers always assume that, oh, he's overqualified, and they don't want somebody that is that senior to be laying around doing individual specialist work. Well, why is that? That reminds me about how we can present ourselves. Perhaps I would encourage people to keep trying, even if you're over 65. Keep trying, and when you interview, you can make it very clear that in your path, you've been always learning new stuff, trying to keep up and trying to adapt to new technology and whatnot. On the other hand, you can also state that your goal is to be an individual contributor, to be a specialist in your field, and that management or leadership, you can support them, but that's not your primary focus. And if you made it up front, we can also tell them that being older, there are a lot of benefits. There are a lot of plus side, because I can see that young people, sometimes they will have to go on maternity leave, or they have to take care of their family is growing. But when we are older, chances are we become very stable in our life. In my case, I haven't taken a sick day in the whole year, and that is very refreshing to hear. So some of the hiring manager may not be aware of those benefits. So in summary, I think that we need to show up as an asset to an organization rather than a liability. We need to highlight our ability to adapt or our ability to set clear boundaries. Well, this all comes back to a powerful idea called the self-determination theory. In a nutshell, the theory says that for us to thrive, we need 3 things. And these are the biggest motivator in life. Autonomy, the feeling of being in control. Competence, the belief in our skills and that we are able to contribute and achieve. Relatedness, this is the sense of belonging and the support of communities that we are all longing for. Getting fired can shake all of those. But as your comments show, we can get them back by relying on each other, by having control in our emotions, by taking control of our learning journey, as well as believing that we are unique and we have special things to contribute. We can take control of our situation by choosing our own paths, build on our interests to gain the sense of worth, and prioritize our relationships to find meaning in what truly matters. It's all about redefining success in our own terms. Society may say that having more money, accumulating more titles, and accumulating more goods and products should make our life more easier. However, from my experience, the opposite is true. The more I accumulate, the more headache I have. And now I really enjoy the freedom of going through a simple life without demanding a lot. And decluttering my physical, mental space is really important. And I need to look after my health, both physical, mental, and spiritual. And all this is to say that even I'm being fired, I understand sometimes company politics or economic situation, companies need to make tough decisions. However, as a community, we can look beyond the emotional setbacks of that unfortunate event. We can find ways to build our future. We will still have a positive energy to keep going and focus on what's the most essential. My story began with being fired, but your comments turn it into a community of resilience. Now I want to hear from you again. What is the one unexpected lesson that you've learned from setbacks in your life, such as a laid off? By sharing your story, you are not only helping yourself because you're reinforcing those realities and your positive energy, but by sharing, you can also help other people who is going through tough time. Someone might be in the middle of their own unexpected detour, and all they need is that one encouragement to keep forward. Leave your comments below, and let's continue to build this space for collective well-being. Until next time, extend your grace and compassion to even strangers. Thank you for watching. Bye.